Welcome to Inside Out. Inside Out is presented by myself, Philip Shamamba. Today we are going to talk about what happened in Africa in the last month. We've seen elections in Africa, three countries within 2 weeks. On the 15th of October, there was elections in Cameroon. On the 25th of October, there were elections in Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. And then the 29th of October, there were elections in Tanzania. But those three elections had 3 points in common. First one, we had exclusion of main opposition leaders, key opposition leaders. And we had the Gen Z, which are Generation Z, the young people who are actually expressing themselves, and they're trying to show we are here. We are not going to let everything run as it used to be. And the third, we see the pre and the post-elections protests. All these elections before they took place, we saw people protesting against the exclusion of key opposition leaders. And on the post-election, we've seen people protesting for the results. Today, I'm not going to be myself. I will be with Dr. Mohammed. Good afternoon, Dr. Mohammed.
Good afternoon, Philip.
How are you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm. Last month, Africa had moved. We've seen, like we said, I just said, elections in three countries within 2 weeks. And all these three countries, they had 3 points in common, as I mentioned. You've witnessed yourself. As an analyst, as a political analyst, what do you make of all these elections?
I think it's just a reflection of the realities of Africa and where Africa it is today. That's African democracy. That's what is going on. So with somewhere like with Cameroon, this is more than 40 years. So that's how it is. And I don't know. I can say that's Cameroon democracy or African democracy, whatever. If that's what democracy is, well, that's what it is. It has been there for 40 years. I know in the next 50 years, maybe if they will continue to do election and he's standing, that's what you will see.
I mean, chronologically, we see countries on the 15th of October, the first elections, that was Cameroon elections.
Yeah.
Paul Biya, who is a Cameroon president, is now 92 years old.
Yes.
This is his 8th term in the office.
Yes.
He's been president for 40 years. Do you think this guy has anything to give anymore? What it takes to keep running Cameroon?
No, I don't think, and I believe most people will also see that. Well, I think biologically at over 90, your cognitive ability, you don't even have the strength, the energy, and then there is no need. I think I like a saying that I used to say, there is no need for better when best is possible.
Right. Well,
there is no need for a 90 person something years old when you have 70s alive. If you have 60s or 40s or 50s, so like you have people with more energy, more strength, then the 90s should rest. Right. So that's the point. There is no need for Paul Biya. If there are younger people, the idea you can advise, you can guide, but you don't have, this is just common biology, common sense. At 90, you don't have the strength. He's supposed to have left office 10 years, 20 years ago, at 70 something maximum. But I don't know, it's power, it's love for, the office, the privileges they've had. And
in French, they say, chaque peuple a les leaders qu'il mérite, which means all people have leaders they deserve. Do you think, as today a 92 years old guy is running Cameroon, is in his 8th term, over 40 years in power, you think Cameroonians do deserve
Yeah, well,
This guy.
it's two ways. They deserve because they accept. If you look at it that way, they don't deserve if you look at it from compassionate angle,
Right.
trying to see the country move forward and develop. It's always challenging to disagree and challenge people in power, because power is a system that, when established, is always rooted deep into the sector and trenches everywhere of the
Especially
society.
after 40 years.
So it's always difficult to challenge it.
Wow.
So that's why you understand and sympathize with them. But then also, it doesn't mean when someone bad is in power, you should accept it, you should not challenge, despite the difficulty of challenging power, especially in democracy. So yes, they deserve it because they accept. Also, they didn't deserve it because they can get better, and he's not doing anything better. Cameroon is not even in Africa, it's mentioned as anything special. You don't even need to embarrass them or compare them with other world powers. Even within Africa, nobody is considering Cameroon as anything. So literally, he failed for 40 years of failure and nothing to show. So basically, and a lot of African countries are facing this challenge. So it's sad because, yeah, definitely from compassionate humanitarian angle, Cameroonians deserve better.
But according to what we saw at the post-elections, like you say, compassionately, we can say they don't deserve.
Yeah.
As they say, people deserve the leaders, which means they accept it. But we could see Cameroonian people down the streets, the Gen Z taking the streets. But they don't have the power to change anything, as the system has been there for 40 years.
Yeah.
You could see they don't have what it takes to do any change, and the guy stay there for another 6 or 7 years. I don't know if he's gonna live over 100 years. Only God knows. The last 5 years will be 97. So I don't know if he's gonna live all these years. But it looks a little bit difficult for them, because if the system that's been there for 40 years, no change, and knowing the opposition leader who ran, apparently the guy, according to Cameroonians, he won the elections, but the result was not him. That's what caused the protests. And there is a risk if the same man can take after he's gone, the same system to still stay there, because he's been minister for years, for Paul Biya. He's been there, he was arrested, he came out jail, then he became opposition leaders, then he's where he is today. Do you think after 40 years in power, and the opposition guy is being part of the power, something might stop a difference to be made in Cameroon?
Yeah, it's a good question. Anyway, the first thing is to change, and then get someone at least much younger, but then,
even if he's part of the system.
Yes, well, nobody is not part of the system. 40 something years is one system.
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody is part of the system.
Generation.
So everybody you see now must have been under Paul Biya.
Yes.
Either you like it or not, he shaped Cameroon, modern day Cameroon. So you cannot get somebody outside that. But at least this guy has, been in the opposition. He distanced himself, disassociated himself from the system, and he tried to challenge the system. For me, two things, or three. First, someone different, much younger, but what is much more important is someone competent. So But anyone out of any one of these three, if you have, is better than what you have. Someone different, someone younger, someone competent, which is the best. So it doesn't literally have to matter you are part of the system or not, because everybody is part of the system.
Somebody will bring something better.
Yes. But like, and also like you said, it's not easy to challenge for something else system, but it's possible.
Nothing's impossible.
Yes, it's possible, but you need a lot of support. And like mentioning, he was part of the system. Well, you cannot change this kind of system with completely outsiders. Well, people within the system or who has been part of it also have to support the opposition, because, well, they control the resources, they know the system. So most of the time you need insiders to challenge this kind of
it's like a train.
system.
To stop a train, you have to be inside the train. So you cannot stop the train from outside, you get crushed.
Exactly. So that is partly why it makes sense. People within the system joining the opposition, you need that. The Gen Z alone, I don't believe alone, they can do it 100%. You need some insiders, some people with support. Not they have to take over, but they should give guidance and even moral, maybe financial and to the opposition. And we hope to see that change, because like you rightly said, in the next 5 years, that's 97.
It's almost 100 years old.
How can you manage a country? And there is no need, even if you are a king or whatever, there is no need. You can resign or leave others to lead.
I saw a video of Paul Biya in a conference, in the Africa conference in America or something. He literally was sleeping. He didn't realize where he was. And there was a guy who had asked him to tell him, it's your turn to talk. His head was bowed down, he couldn't say anything. And he's asking, are there any important people in the room? But the room was just plenty of people. For me, he didn't realize where he was, what he was doing. Do you think these are the force behind him, pushing him to be there as the key figure, so they can take advantage of him being as a figure to hold on to the power from the system he has been able to implement in Cameroon?
It's highly likely. You know, one thing which today, the reality is the West are leading the modern world we are in. And one good thing you see within the West, the main country driving that leadership is America.
Yeah.
And that's why they have some systems that are far better than any other countries. Well, I want to give example of Joe Biden.
Yeah.
This tried to happen with Joe Biden in America. Some people try to manage him so that they will still have him in office, in position, but when he's actually not running the affairs. But the system was challenged from within the party. Some people say, no, this is wrong, and they have to, as we are right now in this world today, 22nd of November 2025, the most powerful person in the world is President of America. But you can imagine they force that powerful person to step down because they look at things like this. Sometimes you have to look at the reality. You have to put the country and the people first. And he stepped down and he let his vice, Kamala Harris, to contest against Donald Trump, which eventually Donald Trump won. But that is a kind of a good example which is similar to this.
We can follow.
So even if he is the president, if the most powerful president can be advised, encouraged, or maybe forced to resign as the candidate of the party, why can they not do that? But that Cameroon is not like the most powerful country. No. You need to sometimes be patriotic and just have courage just to do the right thing. Even when you are selfish, you just have to sometimes
There's a point you just said, Donald Trump was somehow forced to resign.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, sorry. Joe Biden was supposed to design. In Cameroon, maybe people are scared in his own party to force him to resign. They're just waiting for him to be called by God.
It's not, I believe, it's not about scared at this point. I honestly believe it's more of they are benefiting from him being his
there.
image.
Yeah, his
you
image,
know, staying there. Nobody need 2 head or 3 to know Paul Biya is not in charge of running. You can't be 90 something and be physically active and running administration of a country. It's not possible. Biologically, it's difficult, nearly impossible. So some people will be doing the job, enjoying the power. He didn't hold the real power, but his figure is used. So I honestly believe that is what is that benefit.
That figure.
Yeah, it's not about they are afraid of him. Like you gave example, he don't know what he's doing. Most of the time, he has to be resting or sleeping.
Or in hospital.
Or in hospital treatment. So he's weak and vulnerable. But they are just, my thinking is they are just enjoying that privilege. Without him there, somebody will come with his team, with his people, and they will be out of power. So they are just enjoying. That's how I understand.
And that was Cameroon election on the 15th. And then 10 days later, there was election in Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. We've seen almost the same thing repeat itself, which is the president standing for a 4th term. Constitution gave him 2 terms, which is 2010, 2015. In 2020, he changed the constitution so he can stay for the 3rd term. He said he's going to leave. Come 4th term, which was a few weeks ago, he stand for the 4th term. And there were 3 key opposition leaders that we all know been part of Côte d'Ivoire's politics. We have Laurent Gbagbo, who is the ex-president, who was in CCI. He was arrested there for years, and he came out. And he was not eligible for, according to law, because he's been in. So they will not let him be cancelled, excluded. You have a guy called Guillaume Soro, who was a prime minister and as a National Assembly president, living in exile. He couldn't run, he was excluded. And you have a guy called Blé Goudé, who was in jail and was in exile in Ghana, and he came to Ivory Coast. Then these 3 main figures who they could change things according to, but the reason they gave, these guys could not be part of as candidates. They're quite legitimate, but it looks like they didn't want them to be there. They could without this reason, so they can stand. Like I say, the same thing happened in Cameroon 10 days ago. It has happened in Ivory Coast. 10 years later, we've seen pre-election protests. We've seen post-election protests. People basically asking for the same thing. Gen Z protesting for almost the same thing. By the look of it, you think there's a hope for Africa at all?
Well, it's a tricky one. It's yes or no at the same time. There is hope because we're optimistic. We are alive. So
there's always hope.
You can't rule anything and everything, and we don't know the future, but we should be hopeful the future will be bright.
Right.
And when you, at the same time, you can say no, because when you look at what is going on now, and you turn back and look at history, then you say no. So far, this thing continues. We continue to move in the same trajectory, because now let me give you an example. Africa was colonized by Europeans.
Yeah.
from 1885, Berlin Conference. Pre that, they were colonizing most of the coastal and, hinterland going upward. Berlin Conference finalized everything. They partitioned it to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, if today they don't restrain themselves, Europeans, Congo was colonized by Belgium. Nigeria was colonized by Britain.
British.
So let's assume they removed their own restraint that they put on themselves, talking about human rights, democracy. If they remove that, can Africa withstand the Europeans if they say, okay, we are colonizing them again? Do you think Africa can withstand that?
No.
Is there any country that they colonized before that cannot be colonized again? If
in
today
Africa,
Britain say, okay, no restraint,
let's
no United Nations human rights, we want to colonize Nigeria.
Yeah.
Can Nigeria defeat the British army?
They have no power to do that.
Can
After
Congo,
60 years, that's really scary.
Can Congo defeat Belgium?
That's a good point, because
So that's why you look back and say, it's sad. It's no, because we are as vulnerable as before or more. Look at immigration. They were enslaving people, bringing them here to the West for slavery. Which means labor. They need cheap labor, they need labor. Today, people are still crossing, dying in the Mediterranean. The same people, if you go back in history, they say thousands, millions of slaves died transatlantic. To this day, they are doing it the same. But this time is worse. Nobody is capturing them. They are bringing themselves.
They are coming.
So that is why I say yes and no. If you look at the future, we don't know, you can say positive. But if you look at now and backward, it's scary. It's no. Because Africa has not moved an inch from where we were. In fact, it seems to me it's backward. Like I said, look at slavery. People were resisting, crying, fighting not to come. Now people are dying willingly to just come. And they are even saying, no, we don't want to close the border, stop the war. These people are, we must come. Before they are like, force them into the boat and bring them.
Captures.
This is like 80, 100, 200 years. So if you look at that trajectory and you are real, I look at history and I know things happen in history, so I will say, it's no. But when you don't want to be agent of doom, scaring people, you say it's positive. But this thing, even the time of our great leaders, brain like Kwame Nkrumah, those pioneers of OAU, the likes of Murtala Muhammad, they were very optimistic. But all the optimism has not gone anywhere. And look at where we are. So don't be surprised if nothing is done. The next 100 years can still be like this.
Like this, yeah.
Because we are talking about the 50s, 40s.
Yeah.
To this day, look at it.
Today is 65 years or 66 years since the independence movement started in Africa.
Look at Congo.
So in 30 years, 35 years, will be 100 years.
Yeah, look at Congo.
Yeah.
After Patrice Lumumba, few months that he was there.
Until now.
Look at Congo to this day, with all the
65
huge
years
resources. So look, take most of the countries, look at it. 65 years. And if you read history, you know history. The West, let's take them as an example. There is a period they call Dark Ages. From the fall of Western Roman Empire, which is about 3rd, 4th century, until around 15th century. From 3rd to 15th, nearly 1,200-300 years. That's approximately 1,000 years. Nobody even talked about the West. They were in deep darkness of ignorance, diseases, poverty. They call it Dark Ages. Some say, Middle Ages, whatever. From that 4th century
until now
to 15th century, around 1450, 90-something, when Spain and Portugal started exploring. The West, go and read the history. You can name any scientist in the West, English or French. Tell me any scientist or philosopher in 10th century, in 9th century,
Because
8th century.
In 1484, that the Portuguese guy called Diego Cao discovered, went to the Congo.
Yeah, right. It all started from 15th century.
15th century.
When and the pioneers of the West were Spain and Portugal, which Andalus fell.
Yeah.
After the Conquista, Andalus fell. So it now you have a modern Spain and Portugal, the two first powers. Before, that's why Britain was like last toward the 18th, 17, 18 before they. But it was 15th century that those modern Europe, as we see it, raised. But before then, they were nowhere to be found. The point I'm trying to make is sometimes you think this thing is light. If society get lost, we used to say in Nigeria, miss road. You can miss that road for 1,000 years. I gave this example of hair because they were sunk for more than 1,000 years. And this is not a joke. So if people in Africa think they will take this lightly, this thing can continue in this trajectory in the next 1,000 years. All you can see and know is Africa depending on aid, Africa depending on charity, because it happens elsewhere. China was a great civilization, and the same thing happened to them. They dwelled for hundreds of years. Even a tiny little island, Japan
beat China,
conquered them. Before then, Genghis Khan, Mongolia conquered them. And China was a great civilization. But since the time of Genghis Khan was around 12th or 13th century, I'm not very accurate, but around that time, China started declining. If you take 12th or 13th century until 20th century, when Mao led the revolution, that's when China got their senses, and now they are rising.
70s when
Mao revolution, that's like 1940 something. He started to 70s. That's 20th century. So if you start declining around 14th century, that's like 700 years. So this thing, I'm giving this example of world powers because those are real things. This is not a joke. Until you take things serious, in fact, there are civilizations that get lost. What lost? Like when they start declining, they will continue to decline until they even disappear. They will get extinct. So Africans need to do something. Don't take this thing lightly and don't think it's a joke. Try to be serious. And the good thing is, again, you can do it. We just mentioned China. Today, China has risen again. So it's not like completely you lose hope or you lose focus, but you also need to know this thing is serious. This thing can continue to go this way for another 600-700 years.
And last country this is the 25th. On the 29th, we saw Tanzania. Worse again, because this is like something repeating itself again. Tanzania on 29th, we spoke about the 15th, the 25th of October, now 29th. Tanzania election. The opposition leader in jail. Why? Accused of high treason. Because he wouldn't sign electoral code of conduct. For him, he said, no, I can't sign this because what is in this is not democracy. He got arrested. That's a key leader of opposition who was supposed to be in the elections. He was arrested. And then we had other opposition who are opposition. And the whole country, post-elections, when the guy got arrested, unhappiness. Then after the election, we saw some people even saying about 3,000 unalive people. Gen Z took the street. We've seen what we've seen, because that's words we can't say here. The president was the lady, Mama Samia, who is a lady who was in power. He replaced the late president, Magufuli, who died sadly. When she came in power, the guy who was playing opposition leader was in exile. And she showed hope. release people from prison, give freedom to the press. People will say, we are now open up. Few months later, everything start changing. No voice for the media. People analyzed. Key opposition leader in jail. Then there was election. We saw people in the street protesting. Surprisingly, she had 98%. It's like only 2% did not vote for her. 98% of Tanzanians who were enrolled were for her. Only 2%. And we've seen in the street demonstration for a few days. Like you say, there must be, as long as there's life, there is hope. But there is a point that you say, really, there is hope. You ask yourself, is there hope? I understand the point you came from, saying there is life, there must be hope. But these young people are fighting hard, older generation, trying to tell them, look, we are here, the Gen Z. We are the high tech. We know about technology, because what they are doing is based on the knowledge, showing that today's world, you can't just do what you want to do. We have the technology, we have the power in our head, we have different way of seeing things. Do you not think this older generation should somehow find how to integrate the Gen Z and try to listen to them and play accordingly than keep crushing them? You don't think?
That's the best thing to do. Most of the time, or rather all the time, the elderly or the mature, if you like, or the adult, not really adult. I think the elderly and the mature, most of the time, or all the time,
The conflict of generation.
they do the thinking.
Yeah.
They do the thinking, they draw the plan, but all the time is the younger ones who do the work. They do the planning, they do the design. Same thing goes with politics. Most of the time you see those who are behind are the elderly, because they have the wisdom, they know what they want, they manipulate this, or they use them, or they whatever, utilize them. But the energy is from the youth. And when the two work together, most of the time you will see success. But when you divide the two, and just, even now you mentioned Paul Biya in Cameroon, a lot of the people doing those things are young people that are benefiting the system. So even this Tanzania case, most likely, but like you said, maybe I think I will phrase it this way: Gen Z need to reach out to some elderly, people with wisdom for some guidance, but even strategy. They have the energy, they have the number, they can achieve a lot. But sometimes you need that guidance. Somebody say, oh, the door is this way, not this way, or go this way, you understand? So the energy alone cannot achieve, but you need the plan, the strategy,
there must be an opportunity. There must be, this older generation must give an opportunity to Gen Z, for example, to work together with them.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Don't
The opportunity
and execution.
Things don't happen that way. You make things happen. So if you want the power, you go to the elderly and say, come and work with us, guide us. There are millions of Tanzanians, former politicians, present one, that are not happy. It doesn't have to be many. So just some few with
the young
strategy.
People should go see those people.
Of course, bring them to your movement. Get advice, support. That's all you need.
To be the backbones of the...
Even if they are not the backbone, let them give them some strategy, some wisdom, advice.
On how to tackle.
That's it. Sometimes you need someone who think like them or understand the system of the current, who is the president, that find her way. So people who know how they operate, how they manipulate the system, can give you clue. Because they know how they think. Oh, if you do this is how they will react. So do this instead. So you need that guidance, and in most cases, the good guys, the bad guys, whichever side, if you see the side is successful, these two work together. You need that wisdom, then you need the energy. That's why the ancient society, where even the concept of democracy was practiced strongly, not a much, but it was practiced strongly, was in the Rome, when Rome was republic. That's why you have the Senate. The Senate is a Latin word, meaning old person. That's what the Senate means, is Latin, because they want somebody that succeeded and retire, but they were successful in their career, so they will bring them to the Senate because with their experience and they have to be successful, so they can guide the society, the leadership. So that's where the concept of legislative came from. They named them Senate, so they advised the emperor, Uncle Emperor, that time, not really emperor, let's say leader, I forgot the name they called the ruler, but it wasn't emperor. The Rome Republic have the Senate, then they have the leader. I can't remember, it wasn't emperor. And that's where what brought the split between Caesar and the Senate, because they believe he was trying to take all control and don't listen to them the way they want. So it always go like that. The Senate will advise the elderly people, then the leader will take the advice and execute. And how does they execute? Using the young people that they have in police, in military, in civil servants. So you say, okay, do this. And that's how you have a harmony.
That's a good one. Let's say in elections, because we've seen what happened in the past. Let's look a bit ahead. In 2027, Nigeria is going to hold the elections, right? We are now in November, early 27, Nigeria elections, which means the whole 2026 will be electoral year.
Yes.
With the campaigning, with the primaries, in order to be in campaign electoral mode in Nigeria. And I think right now, campaign electoral mode is just starting. You traveled in Abuja, if I not long ago, and as analyst, you've seen around, you saw what's happening, and you could. As a doctor, as a person who, because a PhD is a philosopher, you have the way of looking at things. What you've seen in Nigeria, in Abuja when you were there, are people ready for the elections in 2027?
Yeah, I believe they are ready. Well, it always, the country, the way the mood is before election.
Is the government doing enough for a fair elections in 2027?
So there is serious accusation and objection from the opposition about the government in power trying to make Nigeria one state party.
Wow.
The current party, ruling party, they have been luring governors
monopartism
into their party. So the governors will leave the platform, the party that they were voted in, and join the ruling party. Same thing with some legislative members, rep, senate, and state assembly. So that accusation has been there, and yes, there is evidence.
Evidence there. Okay.
Many governors have left their opposition parties, various opposition, and join. It's evidence everywhere.
Well, they're joining the party.
They are joining the ruling party, which is true. So that accusation,
it's not that against the law.
Well, there is a constitutional provision for that, but the legal lawyers will explain better. But in terms of having democracy, prosperous democracy, is not really good or ideal. Why you have everybody in one party so well.
Because you might be elected by the people as a governor, but in opposition. So you joining the ruling party is like the people have voted you for you to be there.
Yeah.
But you go in there, they didn't vote you for you to be there.
That's the point there. So you are like
deceiving your people.
Taking their mandate, the other party mandate, and giving it to somebody.
Because if you were there, they might not have voted for you.
That's the point. So that is a serious accusation, and it's correct, like you say. Oh, you take one mandate, people voted for this party, and you join this party with their mandate. So yeah, it's serious. But sometimes also, like I said earlier, you have to also balance it. When you see the government doing this and you criticize or blame them for it, but the opposition as well might not be doing enough to
not to stop what is
put their house in order, clean their house, do the right thing. So you left some agents, some people that are working for the government. You can see they are sabotaging your party, and you let them continue to do, maybe because they give you them money, because they are thinking of seeking some privileges. So it goes both ways. When you have non-serious opposition, weak, lacking strategy, even lacking patriotism.
So this is what is happening now in Nigeria. The position is not really strong.
Oh, they are weak because, well, a strong opposition, you won't see this. Like I said, I gave you example earlier, which I will also give example. Is one place that it seems to me democracy works in America. You never see America during the Biden years. The Republicans during Democrats. In fact, Donald Trump stood and he was very resilient. He fought, as opposition leader. He rallied the Republicans. They withstood the Democrat, everything, and they won.
So who's the opposition leader now in Nigeria who's standing against Tinubu?
There are many opposition figures, different parties. You have the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, you have former Minister Konkoso, you have Peter Obi, you have...
So you have one like here, we have Anti-Kemi one side, and the other side you have...
So Nigeria has multi-party, and sometimes the parties are strong in some region.
But they should have one leader.
So they don't.
Okay.
And it was in 2014 that the current ruling party managed to achieve that. So to bring, like from inception, Nigeria has been, if you like, a decentralized regional forces. So most of the time at the federal level, they make alliances. So it's not one party that has complete control. Party A control this region, party B control this, party C, party D. And it wasn't two-party system, so it was multi-party. Even from the First Republic, when the British hand over. Similar thing is still now at play. You have multiple parties. So let me give you example, maybe with figures. It will help clear you. During the last election, 2023, the ruling party, the APC, contested and did have a lot of a good share of the vote. The former ruling party, the PDP, also participated and have some good numbers. And another party which exists but was not so popular was called Labour Party. They also contested and have some reasonable number of votes. And another party called NNPP, which was kind of new, also participated and get some reasonable number. They all have, like, let me say, known presidential candidate. So the APC won with about 9 million. The PDP were runner-up. They have about 7 million, close to that. The Labour Party, I believe, 6 point something as well. The NNPP, close to 2 million. So, but this, if you look, they all have more than 1 million votes at the presidential election, which the current one with 9. So they are the major people, like the opposition that people talk about right now, because they contested. So Tinubu won as the APC ruling party candidate. Atiku Abubakar also as the former vice president of the opposition. Then there is Peter Obi from the Labour Party, and there is former governor and former minister of defense, Rabiu Konkoso. So these three are made
Main
people
political,
consider them as the major opposition, and then you have the ruling party. So that's how it works.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Wow.
There are so other opposition figures popular, but because those ones contested for the election, so they are seen as more of the opposition figure.
Wow. And if you see what has happened for the elections in Africa, and what's just going on in Nigeria at the moment, and ahead of the election in 2027, Burkina Faso leader Traore said Africa need to redefine democracy. You think he's got the points there?
Yeah, well,
because if you see, like you say, it's better to have something that's working than the democracy that's not working.
Well, that's what I will first say to him. Before I analyze that, even the military government is running is also not working.
He thinks it's working.
Well, maybe in Burkina Faso. I don't know precisely in
building schools 3-4 years after.
I'm not talking about Burkina Faso. I'm talking about Africa.
In general.
Military rule has not brought prosperity or developed Africa. So I agree the democracy has not, but the military he is practicing also didn't work.
So what?
We had military president in Nigeria.
But Murtala was...
Some few tried, but
he worked.
He didn't.
He was very good leader. He made it work.
Murtala has beautiful plans, but the same military guys took him off. The same way you have Thomas Sankara and Blaise Compaoré took him off. So the point is, if you have a sample, a system, if you have an example, it's always better. Why you say, okay, look at a military, they have done this, they have built. Most Black African countries that I came from, like me, we tried multiple systems, but none you will say work in this modern time. Maybe few countries you may want to pinpoint and say, okay, they are doing a bit better. But still, when you look at Africa generally, in 21st century, no one African nation is like developed, you would say, up to what you want. So, while I agree with what he said to some certain extent, I am not mainly bothered about only democracy. So if I'm to rephrase his word, I will say governance.
So redefine the governance.
Governance
that the democracy
in Africa,
power for the people,
need to be redefined. So I'm not really obsessed about the type of system of governance we are practicing, but rather I'm more concerned about the result, what the people are getting. Before, we used to have societies in Africa. Some of those that we are proud of, we have ancient Egypt, we have Ghana Empire, we have Mali, where we learn of Mansa Musa. From what we read, we heard it was a great empire. There was prosperity, people are happy. They even had money, they were sponsoring projects, So governance generally is what matters. I look at Africa, we have countries that have natural gas, not crude oil, Then you look at the way they are. Still you see they are not developed. Then I look at Middle East. I look at Qatar, I look at Saudi Arabia, I look at Dubai. Same resources, utilized better. And they are monarchies. Then you look at Norway. They are democracy, they are Europe. Same natural resource they develop. Look at Russia, you understand. Look at
come to Africa,
Scandinavia, Norway, Denmark. So this, and they are two different, this is democracy, this is monarchy. Then you go to Africa where you have military, you have democracy, you have even monarchy, the same resources, no result.
So it's about the people.
So that's why, for me, I will take Ibrahim Traore word and rephrase it and say it's about governance. I'm not even focusing more about democracy or military, because all the two came from the West. It's not actually African system.
Right.
Yeah, democracy is not African system. The same thing with military. This is all Western concept. And for me, I believe, I see it as definitely the way I believe is democracy is better. Why people will have a say in choosing who lead them. But also it should work. So I'm not really blind-sided about democracy. No, democracy should work. Without result, what's the point? It doesn't matter. People are still suffering, no prosperity. Most African countries, you can't even get the basic. Sometimes even ancient solution work better. Clean environment, hygienic. You are struggling to provide that.
Just to clean.
Just to have clean. This is not even modern problems we are talking about, like electricity. Even just ancient issue that has been solved. Clean environment is proving difficult. So Africa, there is huge challenge, huge problem. And yes, African governance need to be redefined. There should be discussion about that. I will repeat what I said earlier. I look at African countries, ours included Nigeria, Congo, Angola, many. We have a lot of natural resources, but we have problem. But you look at Middle East, like I said, okay, Qatar, Dubai, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Oman, all these countries.
Same resources, but well used.
Same natural resources, they develop. You can see prosperity. Then you come to West. You come and look at, like I said, Russia, they have abundant gas and whatever. You look at Norway, Denmark, and you look at those countries. Okay, if there's monarchy, then this is democracy. And they got it right. Well, we in Africa is neither democracy, no military, no monarchy. None can show you evidence of any achievement. Why? The governance has issues.
Well, if we have to talk about Africa, what's going on about the democracy. It will be a whole day. TV is about time. Shall we redefine the governance or the democracy, which is power for the people, power by the people? We see how things are going. Is really the leaders in Africa who are leading are the power for the people by the people. We see how it's going. Is Ibrahim Traore right to say we need to redefine the democracy? Dr. Mohammed say we need to redefine the governance. As you see in Arab countries, they have oil. They're using it better, and the people will see where they are going. With the same resources we have, but we're not going anywhere. We're not getting anywhere because of bad governance. So this is really what we need to be looking to, as we will say, like we said here, after 100 years, we will be at the same points. In the 60s, we had our countries got to independence. 65 years later, we're still going around. In 35 years, it will be 100 years. And I don't really see us making a lot of progress in 35 years, which will be 100 years. We're just going around. So we need to redefine our governance, which is, I think we need to do. And the democracy will be a big boost for the good governance if the power is really for the people by the people. So I think what Dr. Mohammed said really need to be taken into consideration. Thank you for watching, and this was Inside Out. Thank you. Bye-bye.